Queen wants to help. You want to help, Queen? You want to help?
You only get one chance to do this, right? So when you do a big modification on a frame where you're cutting into it, you get one chance. If you cut it wrong, the nice thing about steel is you can weld it back together, but I'd rather just do it right the first time and not have to mess with it. But it's really narrow underneath. I'm really nervous about doing this, but it's something I said I was gonna do, so I'm gonna do it. I've looked all over YouTube, everything for someone that's done this on a 71, like a 68 to 72 A body, and I can't find it. It's all G body stuff, so it's trying to find reference points of where to do it. Another thing we'll do, we'll be putting a bar in here temporarily just while we do this work, and that'll just hold this from squeezing in or falling or anything, but we will have our jacks on front and back, and that bar that we put in, we'll probably run a jack stand down to the floor there as well, just to make sure. But so we have had it mounted in so we could see where we're doing our, I made a mark right here and a mark right there. So that's the amount of the frame we're cutting out. And once we do that, then we'll be able to put our big tires on it and we'll be happy. So we do have some, we do have quite a bit of welding here to do, but it's a good thing I'm a welder and we can get her knocked out pretty quick. So that's where we're at, guys. There's gonna be more unboxing videos here coming soon. We have a lot of stuff here, but there's a lot of stuff I don't want to show you yet, because once you give away exactly what you're doing, then people are like, oh, I know what he's doing, I don't need to watch. No, you need to watch. You need to watch what's going on, because we're doing some cool stuff here. We're building a race car. We're gonna go racing. Talked to a friend of mine, Jim Howe with No Prep Kings, and he was the one that actually suggested I do this rather than doing a back half on it. So that's where we're at. We're gonna window this open and see what it looks like on the inside, and hopefully we get lucky. So realistically, you only get one chance to do this. The nice thing about welding is if you mess up, you can weld your pieces back, but it's never generally as strong. So I'm hoping to do this just once so I don't have to do it again. But we're gonna window this open, see that the frame is straight. So we'll probably have to put a hole here and one here just so we can get a good view. So we'll get our Sharpie, and I don't know where it went. Was here somewhere. There it is. And we'll start marking some stuff. So I got both my lines are transferred on. I had the diff under here, so I know kind of on both sides what I'm doing with it. So it's just the top. I'm gonna cut it on my line. You're essentially trying to just take the, because this frame is twisted out here, right? So you're trying to get rid of that twist and flatten it so you can put a bigger tire on. That's what I'm up to anyways. That's really the only reason I'm doing this, is to try and put a bigger tire on and have that cool look, but I don't know. Do I need the cool look? I don't know. We're gonna need some big tire on here for what we're doing with the power on this car anyways, so. We might break out the plasma. The only reason I don't want to use the plasma is because it puts a lot of heat into it. Like more heat than I want, but less than a torch, but more than I want. But we might do it for the bottom. And I mean, you look at these bottom welds and they're just terrible from factory. So, we're gonna have to, before we send this thing out, we're gonna have to flip this frame up and really re-weld a bunch of stuff on here. What we're doing here is gonna really stiffen this up, and what we've done up here is stiffened everything up, but these factory welds are no good. So I'm gonna get the big grinder, and we can make our 2 cuts, and then we'll start following this up, and we'll get this cut off, and we'll see what it looks like. It's scary doing something like this because I get it. It's something I've never done before, something you've never done before, if you're watching how to do it. So we're working through it together. And this car is really going to be a fun car, and I'm trying to do everything right so that I don't have issues down the road. And that's the big thing. People are going to bitch, complain about certain things that I'm doing to this car, but it's what I want to do at the end of the day, and I'm trying to save myself work, right? For me to put this car together and then pull it back apart to put a cage in it, or pull it back apart to brace the frame and stuff like that, I'd rather just do it before I do everything, and then it's just done once, right? So. And I get it, there's quicker ways of doing this, like a plasma, or not a torch, but a plasma. And I chose to use a grinder. It's a little more expensive. Discs are expensive, but I like how precise I can be with a grinder too. Ish. It was some kind of contemplation. The one thing about the plasma is how quick it is. And I like it. Works good. But it burns me sometimes, and it's noisy. But this one's finicky, so I don't even know if it's gonna work. Now, see, this is what it does. Pain in the ass. So now I hope this audio is working with that stupid thing running. So now we got it opened up, and we can see where we got to bring our lines down and cut it. Okay, so we got this thing all cut out here, and you can, once you get this top one cut, you can actually use it as a guide. So what I basically did for this whole bottom seam here is I marked it with a chalk kind of where I wanted it, but I used a hand on here to keep everything cut and straight. So we are going to gain about 1.5 inches on it, and as you can see, cuts all line up pretty good. And our roll cage is going to come down onto this. So all of our power is getting transferred into a roll cage off of here. So, I don't know. Like I said, guys, I've never done this before, so there's a bit of a learning curve for me to do this, but I'm trying to do it right, but I don't know if I'm doing it right because I haven't ever done it. So, but yeah, it looks good. It looks bad, but it looks good in the fact that once we get this done, we're going to be able to put our diff under it. We'll have lots of room for our big tires, all that stuff. So, yeah. And then we got to do a mini tub, all that stuff too. So, but one side is cut. Okay, so next step here is to cut out a template that fits that. Theoretically, we should be able to use the same template on the other side. So we'll make template. It's got to be damn near perfect because I don't want nothing to warp here. So we're using 3/16, and the 3/16 I have isn't pretty, but we'll clean it up nice. It'll be fine. It's been outside for a while, so, but it'll clean up nice, and then when it gets all painted, it'll be fine. All right, so we got the template marked out here, and basically what I did is I put it flat on the floor so it was supported, and I just traced the outside of the frame. And I was checking every road sign for hidden messages I might find. All right, so we got it cut out. Take it over here, and basically hold it up here, make sure it's close, figure out where we gotta adjust it, and then we cut out our plate to fit. So, all right, so we got it fitting in here pretty good. So we're gonna take it over, transfer it onto the other piece once I clean it up. And I marked, so on the bottom here, I cut right on the line, and on the top, I cut inside the line to make up for where it's not quite going in. So, and then, yeah, we'll put a second coat of the chassis paint in there, and we'll be good to go. If you haven't got yourself a drum sander, get yourself one, or a drum grinder, whatever you want to call it. If you got flat sheet steel like this that you want to clean up, get one of these. They work awesome. Yes, I was looking everywhere for some kind of sign to let me know I was doing fine. That's beautiful. So that's good to work with now. And we'll sand it all up once it's on the car and get it cleaned up real nice. Now we can put our template on, trace it out, cut it out with plasma, and get it tacked on there. Don't you wanna know that you're on the right track, that you're on the right road, you say. Don't you wanna know that you will be fine. Okay, so this mic picks up everything. You can hear the plasma just sitting there running, but so there's our piece now. So essentially we've got a little bit of cleanup to do here, and it should slide in there super nice. Right there's the sweet spot. You can see where it dropped in here. It'll slide in all here. This is all open on the bottom, so once we get that cleaned up and clean the top up, it's gonna fit in real nice. And then these side parts, we'll just put in, we'll have a little template that we make to put in here.
Or we might cut it back some more and make it a little bit more gradual. I could have made it out of one piece that we bent around, but I don't have a brake here. I don't have the tools for doing that stuff. So it's easier for me to just weld pieces together. And with how I'm doing this, it'll be fine. But it's looking really good. Okay guys, so we got this piece, we got the chassis paint on it. And what I did is I traced it out onto our sheet. So that'll be the rough drawing for the other side. So once I get this side done, we'll come over here. Once I get this side done and get the other side cut out, then I can hold my template up and see if it matches, which it should. It should be close, but if it matches perfect, then I've already got everything drawn out. I don't have to mess with it. So we're gonna get this tacked on here and get some good welds on it, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we've got this, we've got it all coated. We're good to go. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna get our piece tacked in here, and then we'll check all our squares again, make sure everything's good, and we'll go from there. Nothing is really moved at all, so that's good. There's always that fear that when you do a big cut like this, that something is gonna move. So again, we got everything painted on the inside, and we're just gonna get this all. It took a little bit of tweaking to get everything exactly perfect how I wanted it, and that's fine. Like, take your time. Something like this, you definitely want to take your time with it. It helps if you turn your helmet to weld mode so you don't blind yourself. But we'll get this thing all tacked in here and good to go. All right. So we got our pieces cut. Sure. And we'll get those tacked in, and then we'll get welding on this. It's a pretty cool feeling to be able to build something like this all by yourself. Like, it's not something that, crap. Dang it. I think I painted the wrong side. That side's right. What? No way. Painted the wrong side, guys. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up. Paint the other side. I'm gonna get this all tacked up, and we'll do a time lapse, a fancy time lapse of welding it out, and then yeah, we'll go from there. guys, so we got this all welded up. I know it doesn't look like much, but we'll make it look nice. You aren't going to see this anyways, the tires that we're putting in here, but this will allow us that extra bit of tire. And so I'm going to clean this up with the wire, or with the flap disc, make it look nice, and then yeah, I'll do the other side. So it didn't take overly long. I mean, I was between filming and different stuff and stuff like that. I mean, a guy could knock this out if you have the proper tools in a day and a half. So yeah, it's really how much ever you want to put into it, right? So, but that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up and I'll show you the finished product, and then I'm gonna do the other side. So. All right, guys, so we got both sides notched. It's all done here. It's cleaned up a little bit. We'll probably do a little bit more, but I mean, you're not gonna see this. I was gonna fill in right here with plate for my roll cage to tie into, but I actually decided I'm gonna bring it back to this part where my coilovers will be. So that'll tie everything in real nice. I did want to put a brace in here, but I don't have room with the way the floor of the car is, and same up here. We'll be doing a connection that'll bolt on to here and go across. That I will be doing, and that'll tie the two sides together. But for now, the back is done. I don't really have anything else I'm planning on doing to it. Like I said, this is the first time I'm doing it, so hopefully everything I've done will work and I won't have issues down the road. So that's it for this video, guys. That's how to notch a 71A body. It works for like the 2 doors, the 4 doors, they're all the same in the back. So you can buy kits for this. For doing this, I can't remember the name of the company, but I built my own. It's 3/16 plate that I put in there, and I was about two days to do it. That's including filming, all that stuff. So if I wasn't filming and I was working steady, probably a day and a half, and we could have knocked it out. So I mean, the plate that I got into it, you probably, like my time, I definitely saved some money doing it myself rather than buying a kit and then putting my time into it. So like and subscribe. That's how you do your back end, a notch on a 71A body. And the frame's looking good, guys. You've seen what we're putting in it for a diff, so that is another video putting that thing together. So I'm super excited to have Moser on board with us on what we're doing. So now we're gonna move to the front end here. So that'll be the next one. We're changing out these engine mounts. We're gonna get the engine back in the car, and we'll work on the transmission cross member. So thanks, guys. Like and subscribe.